Welcome back to the Cold War podcast. George Costanza, my little friend.
It's Dr. Costanza. Thank you very much. No, I don't care how you are. That's a hurtful and mean thing to say, so fuck you. Anyway, yeah.
My boy in LA, Tay, texted me the other day and he's like, holy fuck, why didn't you tell me that Ray was George Costanza? He goes, I just showed my flatmate a photo of Ray and he's just pissing himself laughing.
Yeah.
You're doing a podcast with George Costanza all these years.
That's right.
Yep.
The one and only. I guess that makes you Kramer. So, yeah. I don't know if that's a compliment or not, but there we are. Yeah. Because you're out there, man. You're out there.
Yeah. I'll take that. Yeah.
All right.
Well, Ray and I were just talking off air about how much fun we're going to have doing the Bullshit Filter show this month when we get around to it. We sort of haven't done one for a month or so because of Christmas and shit, but so much going on.
Got a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
Could be a 3-hour show.
Yeah. Well, they always usually are.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on, but this episode we're not talking about America. We're talking about Cuba, which could be on the list of places that Trump's going to overthrow.
New World Order.
Yeah. Same as the old world order, really.
Yeah.
It's
just more blatant.
Yeah. Yes.
In your face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we are still talking about Fidel Castro and his mighty revolution.
Yeah.
At the end of the last episode, I believe he withdrew from the Miami Pact.
Yeah.
Early 1958.
Yeah.
He said that the provisional government being prepared in Miami could neither have a revolutionary character nor avail itself of the strength we will need for the enormous social and political transformations the country requires.
Yeah.
He's not looking for some sort of a moderate, sort of revolution where the old elite get to stay in power. Yeah. It's just you're taking one name off the door and putting the same old guy's name back on there again.
Right.
He knows that the revolution doesn't end when Batista dies or leaves the country, whichever comes first.
Yeah.
But that's when the revolution starts. The revolution isn't the military bit.
Yeah.
That's just the war.
Mm-hmm.
The revolution is what happens when you start to reinvent the way the country works. And that's going to take, he knows, a long time.
Yeah.
And you need to have people in charge that are actually going to get it done and not just go back to same as it ever was. Same as it ever was.
Enriching
same
themselves.
As it ever was.
You've heard of the Brazilian wax. He's trying to do the Cuban wax. We're going to pull them all out, roots and everything, and we're going to start fresh, completely new fresh. So this is his version of the Brazilian wax. And you're right, he's not playing around.
Yeah. And he's in a situation now where he's really the only revolutionary leader that has name recognition and longevity in his camp.
Yep.
Other people have come and gone. He's really the guy that got arrested, went to jail, made a big deal out of it, went into exile, got released, went into exile, came back. They keep saying he's dead, then he's not dead.
Christ-like.
And it's hard to kind of imagine what this must have been like for the Cubans back then. Like, you've got this guy, there's a revolution. Well, there's protests and riots going on, obviously, in Iran at the moment, another country we've talked a lot about on this show over the years.
Oh, yeah.
I've got a good friend, who is Iranian. He is been having a rough, week or two, not getting a lot of sleep, worried about friends and family and all that kind of stuff over there. A couple of his friends died in the last week during the riots, the protests, and the government's response to that.
Yeah.
But they don't have, we've been talking about this, that they don't have a Fidel Castro over there.
Right.
Because they haven't had political, I mean, he was saying, well, there's no political opposition because the regime hasn't allowed political opposition for the last 45 years. And the same is true in Cuba, really. I mean, there are political parties. I'm going back to 1958 here. There are political parties, but really everyone knows that Batista has kept them locked down. But they do have a Fidel Castro as a firebrand, a guy who's pushing for change. He's articulating what the change is going to look like. In Iran today, all they have is the grandson, Pahlavi, Reza Pahlavi, who's the grandson of the original Pahlavi.
Yeah.
It was this guy's father that got removed in 1979. And he's saying, he's been living in the US. He's like, I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'll be king. Sure.
Yeah, sure.
I can.
Sign me up, coach.
King. Yeah. How hard can it be, really?
Yeah.
And he's the only guy with any brand. This is what my friend Karush keeps saying to me. Like, Pahlavi's the only guy with any brand recognition that people they know the name, they know who he is.
Yeah.
There's some support for him. But Fidel, really, I think at this point in Cuba, obviously not everybody are going to be fans of his, but he's the only guy that anyone's talking about as the guy who's going to get shit done, going to get this thing over with and replace the known corrupt government of Batista.
Absolutely. I mean, for all of the different factions, and we're going to go into some of them now, I think it's fair to say that a lot of people know that people that tolerate Castro are like him, that he embodies the spirit. He's been up in the mountains. It's going to be roughly 2 years before he comes down. So, I mean, he's the real deal. And he doesn't want to just be the next Baptista. He literally wants to make things different. I think a lot of people pick up on his sincerity, but you're right. I mean, he's almost King Arthur legend. He's dead. He's not dead. He's in the mountains. No one sees him, but we hear him on the radio or we hear messages from him. Mm. I mean, he's this
fucking Robin Hood.
Yeah.
What he is.
That's even better. A Robin Hood. Yeah. And so he's this aloof figure. Well, that's going to be changing soon. You're right. But because of all the stuff that's happened, a lot of the older players, they're off the stage now. You've got Castro. You've got a couple of others that we're going to mention. But what it comes down to at the end of the day is that it's clear Batista has no new ideas. There is no progress. He's just kept everything shut down because the second he tries to let anything up, that people freak out because they're tired of him. He's not bringing anything new to the table. Everybody but him is ready to move on.
Well, I don't know. I mean, there are people making a lot of money. I mean, the big difference between Cuba at this point and Cuba in the past, and also difference with Iran today. Iran is economically broken as a result primarily of US sanctions for the last 45 years. Not to say that the regime isn't corrupt or hasn't mishandled things, but when you've been under sanctions for 45 years, it takes a toll, right?
Yes, it's going to show.
Yeah. Same with Venezuela.
Yeah.
I mean, and again, I know this is bullshit filter stuff, but
I know
just reading all of the media about Iran and Venezuela over the last couple of weeks in the mainstream media, in the New York Times and the ABC and places like that, they all spend paragraphs talking about how their economy is fucked and the people are upset and the business leaders, the businesses are upset because of the devaluation of the currency and blah, 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 blah. They will put one line in there, ... US sanctions, but then the rest of it's just about. So if you blink, you miss it.
Exactly.
Not like 50% of the article should be talking about the illegality of Unitarian sanctions, US, how that's illegal against US law, UN Charter, et cetera, but they're like, the country is fucked economically. You know how much oil they have in Venezuela and Iran? How are they fucking it up so badly? In brackets, US sanctions, but let's not talk about it too much.
Can I just say real quick, between the United States currently seeming to want to be at war with everybody, all at the same time because, we like to get it all done in one go. Plus, with our own people with ICE, I did figure out the one place where it's safe to be, and that's in the Epstein files. So if you're in there, you're golden, pony boy, don't worry. But everywhere else, watch your back. You know what I'm saying? So that's the only safe harbor, if you will.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Bill Clinton's running around going, I did not have sex with that 15-year-old girl.
And if you have any video, I'd like to have a copy of it, please. Anyways.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so
worry.
Castro has back to Castro. Castro's brand recognition. And one of the things that leads to is his rebel army is rapidly gaining numbers throughout 1958.
Right.
They have during the spring, they have about 400 soldiers. So they've gone from, remember when they landed,
yes.
80 guys, more or less, on the Grandma. 3/4 of them captured or killed.
Right.
They're down to like 20 guys hiding in sugarcane fields.
With heart. Sorry, go ahead.
2 years later, not only have they survived, they've grown their force now by, well, what's 20 to 400? Double that would be 40. 20 times. 20 times they're growing because they're getting it done. They're surviving. They're growing. He's getting brand recognition. By late summer, the rebel forces had grown to about 3,000 fighters.
Right.
With about 3/4 being local peasants.
Yeah.
So this is his strategy. He's in the mountains and he's evangelizing the cause to the local peasants. You have nothing. Yeah, all these rich landowners in Havana control all of the land, and the Americans and the leftover Spanish.
Yeah.
You help me fight this revolution, and we will give you the ability to control your own land, control your own future.
Right.
And people are getting on board. My Iranian friend Karush keeps saying to me, blood needs to be shed sometimes. That's the price. A price needs to be paid for freedom.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is the view, I guess, of revolutionaries everywhere. Like I remember when we did Ho Chi Minh, and he, as I always say, he dedicated his entire adult life to freedom for his people from the age of 19 through to when he died in his 70s.
Yes.
All he had done was fight,
resist,
revolution after revolution after revolution.
Yeah.
First against the French, then against the Japanese, then against the French again, and then against the Americans and the Australians and the British and the Canadians and everyone else who got involved in the Vietnam.
Whoever walked it. Well, Castro has figured out that time is on his side. Baptista's being so harsh with shutting everything down. He's losing more and more support every day, except for the elites, the Americans, but overall the average people that are turning them. And not only is Castro and his band of merry men gone up to more than 7 rifles, which they had a couple of episodes ago. I mean, they control the mountains. They control the hills. They have their own hospital. They have their own schools. They have their own printing press. They have their own slaughterhouse. They even have their own landmine factory, which is important. They even have, and this is important, more important, their own cigar making factory. Because again, you have to have priorities.
Very important.
They also have their own radio station. So you're right.
I'm dreaming life.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Have my own cigar factory.
I would just stay there all the time, next to a rum bar. But he's in the hills,
next to a brothel.
Yeah, he's honing his message. He's bringing people on. He's getting them motivated. Meanwhile, people outside of the mountains are suffering more and more day by day because of Baptistas. So again, time is literally on his side. So even though he's growing, not quite strong enough to directly, openly declare war against Batista, but he doesn't have to. He has time and he's getting the people on his side. So maybe with time and the Cuban people, there's a way to bring this guy down, not just through military means.
And you really got to respect this strategy of staying in the mountains.
Yeah, it's not sexy.
Like it's
hard.
It's
boring. It's sexy, but it's not sexy, but it works. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, it's tough for the army to get. Well, like we know because we've done fucking 20 years military stuff. Your traditional army likes to move in big numbers, big forces, big sort of operations. You want to know what you want to be able to see who you're attacking. You want to be able to bomb them. You want to be able to strafe them with planes. You want to be able to do this. When guys are hiding with in forests, with trees, mountains, you can go and just, napalm the whole area. But in doing that, you're going to be killing lots of civilians. It's going to turn the peasants against you even more than they are already, as well as international pressure and all that kind of stuff. So, and if you send troops up there, there's only a few roads they can go up, a few mountain passes. Castro's got all those staked out. He's got guys watching all the mountain passes, all the roads.
Yeah.
He's hiding out. He's got huts. He's got his encampments everywhere. Mm-hmm. It's brilliant. It's really hard for Batista's army to find them and get rid of them. So brilliant strategic thinking by Fidel to use the mountains to his advantage.
Yeah.
Young people, it's not just the peasants in the mountains, though. Young people from Santiago are leaving daily to go up to the mountains to join Castro's forces. Mm-hmm. Catholic priests are blessing religious medallions and sending them to the mountain fighters.
Wow.
So
yeah, he is Robin Hood. I think you nailed it. He is the mythical, but real spiritual leader, the salvation for the people. He is Robin Hood.
And he's got so many men now that he's able to open different theaters of war across Cuba. So in March of 1958, he sends his little brother, Raul Castro, to establish the Second Oriental Front in the Sierra Cristal, north of Guantanamo, with 65 men.
Yeah.
So he's opening a different front. By the way, Raul, for people who don't know, still alive.
Nice.
And
is in his 90s? How old is he?
He's 94 years old.
I'm never going to see it. That's amazing. That is amazing.
Oh yeah, you'll see 90. You'll see 194. No problem. The way you're going. Yeah.
Anyway, now if I have my cigar factory, go ahead.
No. Look at Raul, man. He's been smoking cigars all his life. 94.
It's preventative. Cigars are a preventative measure, I think you'll find.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. And they're relaxing. They're calming.
I'm calm right now.
And you look like a badass big dick.
That's true.
I haven't had a cigar in fucking, I don't know, 6 months maybe.
Oh.
I keep asking my sons. They keep going to the US. I say, bring me back a box of cigars. And they're like, no, we're not doing that.
Just hide one up your butt.
What's the point of having children
for
again?
your dad? Just one.
No, I don't.
No, okay, not
I don't want my son's butt cigars. No.
Well, dude, Go ahead.
Another one of Fidel's commanders, Juan Almeida, opened a third front north of Santiago, also in March of 1958. And in October of 1958, he sent Che Guevara to command a new front in the Escambray Mountains in central Cuba.
Mm.
There are other groups that had pockets of guerrilla activity, but none had the power or experience of Fidel's rebel army. They had this revolutionary infrastructure in the mountains, and he's opening different fronts. So Batista's trying to send forces here, there, everywhere to try and prevent Fidel's growing level of success, but it's crumbling. He's not getting anywhere. One visitor to Castro's mountain operation called it a veritable military agrarian state. He'd built a shadow government in the mountains.
Yes. Well, he pretty much controls the most eastern section of Cuba. I mean, that the Oriente, or however you say that's directly, if you almost to the point of being under Castro. I mean, Castro has entered his Ray Kroc phase. He is opening branches left and right. You want fries with that? No problem. He's got his men scattered out all over the place. And again, this is the most important thing. The average citizen is supporting them, directly or indirect.
What people don't realize is when you're campaigning in the mountains, there's a lot of mud, there's a lot of water. So Castro had to invent a new kind of footwear for his soldiers, and they were just like rubber sandals.
Right.
And because he was in his Ray Kroc phase, he called them Ray Crocs.
See,
and
you're not going to learn this anywhere else, people. You got to come here
Yeah.
to get this kind of detailed knowledge.
They were originally called Castro's Ray Crocs, and then Americans
Just-
got them.
Yeah,
just
embargoes.
Yeah.
And cut off the Castro.
It's like, it's like, what's the Cuban cigars that they took? Habanos, Cohiba. I think it was like,
Okay.
yeah, there was Cohiba. I think was originally Cuban, and I think there's an American Cohiba now. And there's also like an American version of Cuban rum,
Right.
because America doesn't recognize Cuban. I think the Cubans might have fought in World Trade Organization or something, World Court or something, over the Cohiba brand at some point. But for a period there, Americans after the revolution, Americans were like, well, fuck Cuba's brands.
Right.
We're just going to steal them and set them up here.
That's what we do.
Did the same with Crocs. People don't know that, but yeah,
That's true, by the way.
Crocs.
Yeah.
Absolutely true. Look it up, people. We get everything we know from books.
On the dark web. Go ahead.
So he had a full-blown headquarters in the Sierra Maestra called the La Plata Command. He had 16 balsa wood huts camouflaged to be undetectable from the air. And the other great thing about that is when you disassembled them, when you were going to move, you could make paper planes out of them. Not paper planes, balsa wood planes. So you could just, instead of having to carry the hut from one location to another, you could just make a plane out of it because it's light, and you would throw it down the mountain.
Is that like a transformer? And then it becomes a plane, then it just goes. Oh my God, I'm learning so much.
Yeah.
We're nailing it tonight.
His house in his camp had multiple secret escape routes.
Yeah, that makes
in case he got discovered by Batista's soldiers in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
He had a hut that housed the Civil Administration for Liberated Territories that had departments of justice, sanitation, agrarian issues, public works, finance, and education.
Damn.
And I've told you, I'm sure, about Chapter 3, the shadow government that I'm trying to set up in Australia.
I don't know if we should
about that.
Mention it out in the open. Go ahead. Tell me.
I've talked about it on the Futuristic Show with Steve.
Right.
You know, my feeling is that the Australian government is not prepared at all for what's about to happen with AI and robotics in this country. They're sort of pretending like if it's ever going to happen, it's going to be like 50 years from now, when it's going to be within the next few years.
Right.
And no one's preparing all of our country, not preparing our country for what's going to come next. Mm-hmm. How do we operate at speed when all of this stuff happens, when 40% of the population is unemployed and the economy crashes as a result? So we need a shadow government that builds all of our policies in place, so when this happens, we can just swap it over, streamline in. So I'm calling that Chapter 3 because I believe that we're about to move into Chapter 3 of humanity. Chapter 1 was everything before the Industrial Revolution.
Makes sense.
Chapter 2 was the Industrial Revolution to today.
Right.
Chapter 3 will be what happens post artificial general intelligence and humanoid robotics.
I'm glad someone's
it's going to be completely revolutionary.
I'm glad someone's preparing, because I'm not ready, but you probably guessed that already. Go ahead.
Was that wrong? So Fidel is setting up a shadow government in the mountains. He's getting all of his guys ready because he knows when they take over, it's a big job. But that's how confident he is in victory at this stage. He's like building his administration ready to slot in when they get in there. Guys are in between doing rebel army stuff. They're thinking about their portfolios. Okay, when we take over, day one, what do we do? Here, what do we do there? What's the agrarian reform going to look like? What are we going to do in terms of finance, education, et cetera, et cetera? Raul Castro created a police force and intelligence service recruited from local peasants. He also established schools in the mountains to teach both soldiers and local children to read.
Very important.
Because literacy, very, very important. Yeah. If you want to have any sort of functioning economy, middle class, you need to have high levels of literacy.
Absolutely.
And Cuba did have a lot of good stuff going on under Batista. They already had some of the highest levels of doctors per capita in the world. They had good rates of literacy outside of the peasants, the working classes. They still had a lot of problems in the peasant classes, which is what Fidel's trying to fix. The schools even taught public speaking, insisting that students should use the correct two-syllable pronunciation of para instead of the shortened pa.
Right.
Didn't really kick off, but they were trying to teach kids to read, to write, to speak.
Be articulate.
Yeah. They established their own taxation system. 36 of 41 sugar mills in the region were paying taxes to the rebel state in 1958.
That's their basis. Because at the end of the day, you have to have money to make things work, to keep things going, especially when you have a shadow government. You need money just as much as the legitimate government does.
Yeah. Well, they were the legitimate government in this region. True. They were officiating marriage ceremonies, legalizing divorces, registering births.
Well, the first one.
And they were administering justice in the regions where they were in control. They were executing prisoners or imprisoning people where they determined that it was required. They were the highest authority in the lands that they were in charge of and wrote their own laws, administered their own laws. They also outlawed the cultivation and sale of marijuana.
Right. Yeah.
Which I get, I'm against that.
Yeah,
but
for now.
Yeah, when you're fighting, when you're trying to fight a civil war.
You got time to get high. You need food. I mean, I would love to get high, don't get me wrong, but right now we need food. Come on, people, focus.
Yeah. Listen. Yeah. You can't spend all your time eating breakfast cereal and watching Saturday morning cartoons, people.
We need
that's for later. Right. You do that later. Right now, we need you focused.
Yes, focus. Well, see, this is the other thing is that, like you were saying, they have dual roles. Right now we're soldiers, and as soon as we win, we'll turn our hats around, and I'll be the Secretary of Labor, you be the Secretary of Commerce, you be the Secretary of Trade. I mean, yeah, they're going to do it all, but step one is to win the Civil War.
Step one, cut a hole in the box.
No.
They set the prices for the coffee harvest, but the most important law that they passed was Law Number 3, which gave land to the tiller.
Right.
So they started doing agrarian reform in the mountains from day one, before they were even in control of Santiago, Havana. They're doing agrarian reform because that's the first step.
Yes.
Yes. They're going to be rewarding the peasants for supporting them by saying, you get some land.
Yeah.
So immediately after they put this law into place, local peasants began clamoring for immediate implementation. They wanted immediate control over their own land.
Makes sense.
So they had to do it. They had to deliver it. So, you can imagine the sort of support as that spreads. If you do agrarian reform in one part of the mountain, the peasants in the neighboring area hear that if you support Castro and the rebels, you get your own land.
Right. Oh,
man, yeah, they're on board. Heartbeat, right? Exactly.
Exactly. People are going to talk. It's going to spread as fast as any sexually transmitted disease you can think of. People want, because this is the very basis. The idea of land ownership goes. I mean, it is so basic to being human and to being your own master. So. Good for Castro.
So, meanwhile,
back at the ranch,
the actual state in Havana, with Batista, desperate to retain power, he's routinely issuing temporary suspensions of constitutional guarantees. In March of 1958, he closed schools across the country.
Right.
And there are bombs going off, meanwhile, all across the city. in Havana as the rebels are trying to create as much destruction as possible.
Yeah.
There's a combination of armed resistance in the mountains as well as domestic terrorism, targeting the police, targeting the army in the city, targeting businesses that are supporting the regime, media that's supporting the regime. But nothing Batista's able to do is able to crush the rebellion. Every day that goes on, he's looking weaker and weaker.
Yeah, I mean, he's lost the faith and the trust of the people. That's something you can't get back. Once that's gone, like Hyman, it's gone. So, and anything it does is just going to be viewed through the lens of cruelty.
I was thinking Hyman Roth there because I'm thinking Cuba.
Right.
I'm thinking Godfather Part 2. I'm thinking Hyman Roth.
Little piece of cake. Yeah, I love that fucking movie. Anyway.
This is the life we have chosen, Michael. I did not ask who gave the order.
I'm going to watch that tonight.
So great.
Yeah.
So, this does remind me of what's going on in Iran at the moment. Like the regime was just slipping. My friend Karush tells me that there are 20 million people protesting in Iran at the moment.
It's unfathomable. Jesus. Yeah.
20 million people. So when the regime has lost all authority and people just don't believe it anymore. They're not even scared of it really anymore. I mean, the regime I'm talking about in Cuba now,
right,
are killing resistors like ICE, killing anyone that looks at them the wrong way. But that's just making the people angrier.
Yeah,
it's not scaring the people off. They're just getting angrier and angrier. There's more acts of sabotage. There's more demonstrations. There's more riots. The people are emboldened, and Castro's success has a lot to do with that, and they all seem to believe that Batista's days are numbered and that this thing is all over bar the shouting.
Yeah, if I could just give some indications of, and yet you're right, as far as Batista, yes, there's still government cruelty and the police are still being cruel and killing people, but like you said, the element of fear is gone. The idea of Batista has jumped the shark. People are like, yeah, he's an asshole. Fuck him. We're more angry than we are afraid. But in early 1958, he does suffer some real political blows. I'll just give you a couple examples real quick. In early 1958, the Cardinal Primate of Cuba made a statement speaking for all of the bishops on the island, saying that we need a government of national unity to prepare the way for a return to a peaceful and normal political life, as in saying what's going on now is not acceptable, it's not peaceful, and we don't want it anymore. Then a group of distinguished judges issued a protest against the arbitrary brutality of the police. Again, they're like, we've had enough of this. This was in February of 1958. And also, I'll say this one. I don't know if you want to tell it or where it comes into the story, but let's just say that there's going to be an incredible, kind of funny propaganda stunt when a race car driver is kidnapped just to make a point. But the point is, he's losing in the courts. He's losing with the church. He's losing with the people. And meanwhile, Castro is just sitting there in the mountains, always taking the high ground like Anakin, and just gathering power unto himself.
The U.S. consul's dispatches in 1958 are just constantly talking about bombs, explosions, sabotage, cane fires, murders, beatings, tortures.
It's crazy.
The sugar mill owners and sugarcane growers associations withdrew their support for Batista. The Catholic Church, as you said, moved into opposition. Cuba's Communist Party, officially called the Popular Socialist Party, who had been an ally of Batista, we've mentioned that in previous episodes, came out officially in support of Castro's 26th of July movement.
Yeah.
And in March of 1958, the United States announced that it would cease all arms shipments to Cuba.
Yeah. A little too sticky, a little too uncomfortable. Yeah,
but these days, Israel can go full-on genocide. The U.S. doesn't announce that. But at this point...
Yeah. It's different. And it's Eisenhower.
It was different times.
Yes.
Yeah. But Batista still wouldn't let go. He refused to give in, and it looked like it was going to be a fight to the death.
Yeah.
He's determined that he's gonna win. He's gonna crush Fidel and the rebels and the rioters and the protests. So I guess that's probably where we'll finish this episode. Batista is just hanging on, even though he's basically losing support right across the board, it seems. He is determined to hang on until the very last moment, which, as we'll see in the next episode, was New Year's Eve, 1958. Do you call it 8 or 9? So is it's
right after
end
midnight.
Of 1958 is New Year's Eve, 1958.
Yes,
I guess. Yeah. Right. Yes.